Hey friends, how's it going? You know what I've been thinking about today? I have been thinking about names and the power of names. Isn't it interesting that we don't just walk around saying, hey you, hey you, hey you all the time and just assuming people will know what we mean, but we have actual names assigned to each of us that we can call each other so that we know we are specifically talking to you. So, how many names do you have? Have you ever thought about that? Yeah, my name is Casey, but my middle name is Catherine, and my last name is Cross. But before I was married, my last name was Carlson. That gives me four names. And actually, my parents also add an extra middle name for me, Joy. So it's Casey Catherine Joy, Carlson Cross. It's five names. And then, I have my nicknames. Like sometimes my mom would call me Quesadilla. Makes sense, right? So I've got nicknames, and that's a lot of names. I'm also a friend. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a niece. I'm a granddaughter. Gosh, I have a lot of names. How many names do you have? Today, maybe make a list for yourself. What are all of your names? And on top of that, do you know what they even mean? Casey means brave. So all of my life, when I hear my name, I get to remember that I am brave. And my middle name, Catherine, is the same name as my grandma, my dad's mom. Catherine means pure. And then our last names connect us to our history and our family lines, right? So those can go back hundreds of years even, and they have their own meanings. So I wonder, what are your names and what do they mean? And if that's just names for us, what about all the names about everything around us? What about all the animals? What's cool about learning more about the Bible and even learning the original languages of the Bible is that you get to learn about the meanings of the names. And suddenly the story you're reading will come to life in a whole new way because those names hold clues to the story you're about to hear. So I want you to spend some time thinking about all of your names. I want you to spend some time thinking about the names that you've heard in the Bible and what they mean. Like, Jesus. What about that name? Do you know what the name Jesus means? It actually means to deliver, to rescue. So when we hear the name Jesus, we are already getting a clue about who this baby Jesus is going to grow up to be. It's kind of amazing. So when we keep imagining this, what's next? I mean, what about God's name? What do we mean when we say God? It's so much more than that one three-letter word. And when we hear the name God, when we hear about God in the Bible, there are different names like El Shaddai, Yahweh. So when you learn about all of your names and some of the names from your favorite Bible stories, now I want you to see how many names for God can you find? And what do those names mean? And what does that tell us about who God is? There is power in naming and power in our names. Let's not take that for granted. When we say that we are calling on God, when we are praying and talking to God by name, don't you think God knows us by name as well? Don't you think instead of just calling us human, God knows my name is Casey, brave one? What does that mean when you're talking to God? God doesn't just look at you and say, hey, human. God knows you by name too. And there's power in that and connection. And it's so much more than just, hey, God, big guy in the sky. I really want this for Christmas. Can I have it? Thanks. Okay. Amen. It means so much more than that when you think about this God, this creator of all, knowing us by name and what it means for us when we know God by name. So that's a lot to think about. Think about those names. And thank God that names hold so much for us. And thank God for those people who have given you your name so that you can live into that.